There's a lot of buzz about affordable housing in general. And what does affordable mean? Well, that's really relative to each person and what they're making for income. But there are some key takeaways. And in Kennebec County, where we live, the area median income shows that for most people, that's between 50 and 60,000 a year. That is what they're making. And the housing then that can be supported by that income is about $1,300 a month. So when you hear, housing's not affordable, that's pretty much why. The area income that's being supported by the businesses that are around us and what they're able to pay their employees for a salary based on what they're kind of making as an income as a business, that doesn't add up to what the cost of the actual housing is for a lot of people. But for some it does. So when you say to one person, hey, $1,300 a month, they might think, oh, that's affordable. And to somebody else, that's twice as much as they would ever be able to afford for housing. So it's all relative. But what we see is a real big gap in the middle housing, if you will. That piece of housing that isn't completely subsidized apartments, and also the piece of housing that isn't like at the upper end of the spectrum where nobody really cares about the price. It's that housing in the middle that, many people who are working in this area, then they can't actually afford it. And so when we're talking about, what is affordable housing, oftentimes people are thinking about the creation of highly subsidized apartment units for people on the lower end of the income spectrum. And certainly that's there because many of those individuals don't have the capacity to make the pay for of the rent at a higher number themselves. But what we're starting to see is this real compression on the middle housing sector. And now we're looking at ways in which we can create housing in that spectrum for income levels that some people might not consider to be low income per se, because they're more in line with what the average is for the area, but also then making sure that the housing is created so that they can afford it. And because right now it's not. I mean, there's a lot of housing being created at what's considered affordable housing for people on low income. And then affordable for people on high income is kind of whatever number it needs to be. That's not a concern. It's more like, hey, we have this group of people here in the middle that are not going to receive a ton of subsidy on their rent, payment or whatever, but they still need to be able to make the mortgage payment. And the only way to make that mortgage payment is by bringing down the cost of what it is that they're buying or reducing the rates. So, one of those two things need to happen. We can't, government and us as citizens can't really control the rates. So we really got to focus on, the inventory side of things in order to help with reducing those costs and making things more quote unquote affordable for people that are actually just earning your average income.